Assalamualaikum and hi. Our group is going to make a project about a bottle vacuum. This group is from Zahin Azhari, Akram, Shaki and me, Muhammad Afiq bin Asmawi. In introduction, we tell about a function vacuum, which is a vacuum cleaner is a device that uses an air pump to create a partial suction in order to collect dust and grime, typically from the floor but sometimes from furniture and curtains. Either a dust bag or a cyclone catch and dispose the dirt. There are variable types of vacuum, which is vacuum cleaner are utilized in both home and business, and they are available in a variety of size and design, from small battery-powered handheld device to numerous stationary industry machine that can hold several hundred liters of dust before needing to be emptied, and even self-propeller vacuum truck that can clean up large spill or remove contaminated soil. Specialized shock vacuum are able to collect both dust and liquid. In fabrication of vacuum, scientific and technological development throughout the Industrial Revolution made vacuum cleaner possible. By the mid-1800s, factories polluted and produced tens of thousands of items that caused a dirty and sooty environment. Louis Pasteur's observation led him to believe that microorganisms or germs spread disease. The germ hypothesis and the fight against industrial pollution initially made people care about hygiene and cleanliness. The way of vacuum function, according to Bernoulli's principle, as air velocity increases, pressure will fall. This is how vacuum functions. Air will always flow from a high pressure location to a low pressure area to maintain pressure balance. Suction capacity indicates how powerful a vacuum cleaner is, while air volume indicates how much air it can move. The suction power of a vacuum cleaner is the sum of its suction capacity and the volume of air it can move. It demonstrates the vacuum cleaner strength.
Assalamualaikum. So my name is Muhammad Azhari. So I will be explaining about the literature review. So the vacuum cleaner is actually a device that is used to suck dust, dirt or waste by using high pressure from air from outside and flowing towards low pressure air inside. So how is the vacuum cleaner related to Bernoulli equation? So the vacuum cleaner works because of Bernoulli principle, as it stated that as the speed of air increase, the pressure decrease. According to Bernoulli's principle, when a suction process is produced from the fan of the vacuum cleaner, a higher pressure air from outside the vacuum rush in through the intake port to replace the lower pressure air, and then the air from the outside that has been sucked will also carry dirt and dust or the waste. But the Bernoulli equation also stated some limitation, which are steady flow. It is applicable to all steady flow, and then we have the frictional flow. In general, frictional effects are negligible for short flow section with large cross section, and especially at low velocities. And then we have the incompressible flow, which is one of the assumption, and it is used in the derivation of the Bernoulli equation that P is equal to constant, and then it makes the flow is incompressible. And lastly, we have the flow along a streamline. So in our project, all of the limitation is included in the project. So that's all for the literature review. Thank
Okay,
you.
for the methodology part, we follow the flow that first we're going to do a meeting that where we make a discussion about design of this mini vacuum and collecting budget and data. Secondly, we design a portable mini vacuum and going to buy a component at DIY store, stationery and other shop to get component that we need. After we buy component, we're going to assembly and going to make a test of this vacuum to see the vacuuming process whether it is efficient or not. And lastly, we're going to make a result and discussion in purpose to interpret and describe the signification of our project and in relation to Bernoulli principle. Okay, this is the design of our mini vacuum. First, we're using a plastic bottle uh, that is acts as a mechanical support, battery holder. The function of battery holder is to protect the cell from falling out to conduct electricity from batteries to the exhaust fan. Third is the DC motor. DC motor is going to convert the electrical energy from the power source into mechanical energy in the form in to form a flow and a suction. Next is DC motor holder. The DC motor holder is going to make the exhaust fan stick to the vacuum and as a stabilizer. Then we have blade. This blade is going to make airflow going inside the vacuum. After that, we can see there is a filter that can prevent the dust that enter into the exhaust fan chamber. Then we're going to use a battery as a power supply to turn on the DC motor. And lastly, we have Popeye stick as the handle of the vacuum. Okay, this is the way we build our mini vacuum. First step is the 1500 milliliter plastic bottle was marked around the circumference by using a marker and made two halves with the help of a cutter and a scissor. The second step is in order to make a fan, we use a blade that we bought from DIY store. The open circumference of the plastic bottle was marked with a marker, fairly scratched and cut. And the third step, now the fan and motor are assembled. The ideal side of the crafted fan center is attached to the rotating rod on the 3-volt DC motor and press hard to tighten it. Here we use a pipe bracket and a plate as a DC motor holder. Then we assemble the fan and that is connect with the battery holder to a plate as the body of this vacuum. After that, we attach a pipe bracket to a Popeye stick as the holder of the vacuum cleaner. Now we mount the mesh and the bottle to form a filter and combine it with the body of the vacuum. And finally, we wire up the motor and attach to a battery holder to connect it to the main.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Syakir Sanusi. Kat sini saya akan terangkan application for our project. Working principle. When the fan begin to rotate, it will cause a pressure difference between the inside and the outside of the bottle. Because of the difference in the pressure, the air from the outside together with the dust particle will be sucked in. The filter will be capture all the dust particle which can be clear afterward. The inlet of the centrifugal fan will experience suction pressure, where the outlet of centrifugal fan will experience negative pressure. As you can see, this is how vacuum cleaner operate. This is the arrow of the air being sucked. There is filter inside the bottle, outside. Behind this, in our project, include the picture of you can see the DC motor and the fan. Next is in the field of the fluid mechanics, the Bernoulli equation is one of the questions that is both widely used and widely misunderstood. Its adaptability, straightforwardness, and the user-friendliness make it an extremely useful instrument for conducting analysis. Nevertheless, this same qualities also make it very tempting to put it to improper use. Because of this, it is very important to fully understand the limit on how it can be used and to follow the rule about how it should be used. This is a limitation of the use of the Bernoulli equation. There are 4 limitations for use of Bernoulli equations. One is steady flow, frictionless flow, incompressible flow, and lastly is flow along a streamline. This as you can see is a Bernoulli equation. P1 over rho plus V1 square over 2 plus G Z1, Z is elevation, and P1 P2 equal to P2 pressure over rho is density, plus V2 square, V2 is velocity over 2 plus GZ2. G is the gravity and Z2 is elevation over 2. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, now let's watch the video to demonstrate how the bottle vacuum works.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So now we are going to be demonstrating our project, which is bottle vacuum. So let's go. As we can see, the bottle vacuum works well when sucking the pieces of papers. However, it cannot suck a substance that is considered to be heavy to the mini vacuum. It is because we are using a mini motor which has the operating voltage of 3 volts only. Thank you very much.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Akram. So I will explain about discussion for our project bottle vacuum. So the bottle vacuum is able to work because of the Bernoulli principle. What is Bernoulli principle? Bernoulli principle state that the pressure will decrease as the speed of air is increased. So air will always flow from an area with high pressure to an area with low pressure in an effort to keep the pressure from becoming unbalanced. According to Bernoulli principle, decreasing the pressure of the air within the vacuum is accomplished by moving air towards the outlet port at a high rate of speed using a fan located inside the vacuum. So as you can see in the picture, when we switch on the bottle vacuum, the motor will begin to spin the fan, which then exert a high level of pressure on the air contained inside the vacuum cleaner and force it to go towards the back of the device. Then this increase in velocity will result in a decrease in the pressure that is exerted by the air inside the bottle. As a result, air with a higher pressure than the air inside the vacuum cleaner will flow into the bottle through its inlet. Okay, for the conclusion, based on our project, which is a bottle vacuum, we are able to observe that this device is well suited to being used as an object to get a better understanding of the Bernoulli principle. The bottle vacuum, which was made on a low budget, but it is efficiency because it can suck the small substance when demonstrate. So the Bernoulli principle can be observed in this bottle vacuum when the vacuum sucks the small substance towards the inside of the bottle. Since the force of this vacuum suction is limited by the size of the fan and also the motor rotational speed at which is operated, the characteristic of the substance that can be sucked are small and light. If you want to increase the efficiency of this bottle vacuum, we can make some adjustment or modification to the component, such as increase the size of the fan and also replace the motor, which the motor can increase rotational of the fan. That's all. Thank you.